Peace, everybody. Hope everybody out there is doing well. Today, I actually want to talk about my process and my zone and how I get into my zone and what I use and all that good stuff. Because I really think that's important. And I actually, when I first started drawing comics and trying to figure out how to draw comics, that's something that I wished there was more of. Like, when I first started drawing comics, YouTube wasn't really even a thing. So it was almost impossible unless you went to a book and read like somebody's autobiography or something, or whatever, to find out what their process is and all of that good stuff. So I like to talk about stuff like that, and I think it's important. So this is a page I did last night around like 8 o'clock, 8:30. I finished. And normally I actually take a lot longer to finish. Not because I'm taking a lot longer to draw, it's because I like drawing super late at night when everything's quiet. But yesterday I was in here all day, really, just doing different stuff, doing research, putting stuff together. So I kind of got on the table and just knocked it out. But I don't really use a whole lot of conventional means of drawing comic books. And as I progressed in drawing and just art in general, and particularly in comics, I started straying away from the traditional means of drawing comics. You gotta do this, and the panels gotta be like this, and this character has to look like this, and American style and Japanese style and all this. So I just kind of just like, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and if people like it, they like it. So I with that said, I freestyle most of my pages, meaning I don't sketch before I put it on the final piece of paper. I used to sketch all the time. I used to it was religious for me to sketch before I put anything on the final paper. And so I have my sketchbook right next to me, to my left or to my right or whatever, and I'll be drawing right out of it, or on the final paper right out of my sketchbook, just looking back and forth, kind of making sure things line up. Obviously my sketches wouldn't look as nice as the final, but I would have a gist of what I want to draw. Now I don't do that. I just do it straight on the paper, and I just draw lightly enough so I can erase until I get my vibe, and then I just go with it. I don't even really have the panels set up. I have them set up in my head, kinda, and I just let it go. I just let it go how it goes, man. And that's really it. I might reference my sketchbook for my characters, make sure my swords are on the right side. I always have a problem with that. I always put the swords on the wrong side. I don't know why, but maybe because I'm left-handed. But I always make sure my stuff is lined up, the clothing is right, everything that like I want is there. So sometimes I open my sketchbook to make sure, okay, I got this. All right, boom, that's how it's supposed to be. Or little changes that I make in the characters that I really wanted to put in there, I'll sketch it in. So I'll be like, okay, let me open my sketchbook and make sure Olu's good with her clothing, or Yasuke is good with his clothing, or whatever, or any other character. So that's pretty much it with sketchbook. I really just sketch my characters, and so I have a reference point to go back to, because I've sketched and drawn both of these two so much and changed them so much that I'll mess up sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I'll do something that I don't even have. Like, she wears like this, I don't know what it's even called, like a sash thing now, on her waist, and she didn't have that before. And I'll mess up and forget it if I don't sometimes reference my sketchbook. So sketchbooks are definitely a must, but I don't use them to draw out every single thing exactly how I want it anymore, and then put it on the paper. So that's pretty much my drawing process. Of course, I'll put on some music or whatever, something to vibe to, lo-fi hip hop or some Sade or something smooth, something that gets me like just relaxed or whatever. Sometimes I read comics. I got a bunch of comics over here. You can't see them. Let me see if I can pan in without messing the camera up. But I got Usagi, and sometimes I'll even read like books, like Book of Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi. I got Rurouni Kenshin or Samurai X. That's the Japanese version. I'm trying to really learn how to read Japanese. I got Vagabond over there. You can see it. It's a it's like a little, it's right over here. It's right here. Dope comic. I reference that a lot too. So sometimes reading material is my references, but I always have references, man, because it just makes the process a lot easier. As far as what I use, now I'm cheap. I've always been cheap. As far as my art materials, I really don't try to spend a whole lot of money on art materials because I learned early on, very, very early on, that I never needed any of that stuff. Because it doesn't matter if you spend double the money on something. If it don't erase, it just doesn't erase. If you're drawing too dark, it's not gonna like help it. You know what I'm saying? If you're not a good artist or you can't pencil well, a more expensive pencil isn't gonna help you pencil well. So I used to just have like big mechanical pencils, the joints in the pack. But I got this when I was in Japan. And art materials in Japan are extremely inexpensive. I don't know why, but they are. When I was in Japan, I got this. It's just a regular mechanical pencil. It looks fancy. It does fancy little whatever, but it's a regular mechanical pencil. I use 0.5 lead or graphite or whatever the hell it is now. I like my lines fine, so you know, just a regular mechanical pencil. Even if you get one of the big ones out the pack, it works fine, trust me. The only issue with those sometimes is if you have them for way too long, it'll start to like kind of like dwindle, meaning like the point will start to like have a little play in it. So when you draw, you'll have a little play in your point, and it's weird. I don't know. Well, maybe that's not somebody else's problem. Maybe I just grip the pencil too much. And then I got this. It's a different kind of eraser. It gets in kind of like nooks and crannies. I always liked it. I always use it. Super inexpensive. You can get them at any art store. These are Copic pens. They're expensive in the United States, but they were super cheap in Japan. And if they wasn't that cheap, I wouldn't have got them. But I always just used like the Michaels brand pens to ink, and they work just fine. This thing here, it's a mechanical eraser. It has a motor in it. It's kind of cool, man. I could draw a line real quick and show you how it works, but it's kind of dope. Like, you don't really have to rub. You just kind of go along the line of it, and it just erases. It's cool, man. It gets really in close, so you can really erase. I draw and erase to cut away my pencil work. So this thing right here is super dope. And I'm gonna do demonstrations and stuff because some of this y'all might not even know what I'm talking about. And this thing right here, kneaded eraser, definitely a must for me, because you can shape it however you want to and get real in close with whatever you want to erase with, or whatever you want to erase, and you can dab your pencil to make it super light. So if you make a mistake, you can kind of just draw over your light pencil and then go on top of that and erase it. So that's what I use, man. You know, nothing super expensive or super elaborate, but you know, buy what you like, buy what fits you. Don't worry about, and there's an ant on my on my paper right now, but buy what you like, buy the things that fits you. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Just do what you want to do. That's the whole point of art and drawing and comics. Just do it how you want to do it. That's all I got. I'm gonna try to tighten this page up a little bit and maybe start another one. Like and subscribe, and definitely go to lostfindapparel.com and get that 0 issue of Yasuke the Black Samurai. Peace and love, y'all.